Hello, welcome back. I'm not sure actually who's crazier for coming back for episode 2. You having watched the first one and coming back, or me recording myself again having done the first one. But there we go. Here we are. So second video today. We're going to talk about my first triathlon attempt and how I managed to get into triathlon in the first place. So I'll take you back to 2022. Start of. And January to March were the 3 most difficult months of my life. Not being dramatic, but a few personal circumstances in amongst that. But we came out the other side of it with a changed strategy on how I was going to get enjoyment from life. And that, for some reason, involved triathlon. So in April, I spent the month, as shown by the pickies, in Barcelona. And I didn't really know what to do. So I joined a gym and I started running about a bit because I'd started running at the end of the year before. So I ran about, explored the sites, and spent the month absolutely hammering the indoor bike. And strangely quite enjoyed putting myself into some fairly hard sessions. But anyway, loved it. And here we go. After that, arrived back in the UK in May. Ran a 10k in May, and then roll on the first triathlon in June 2022. So just for you that don't know the distances in the different types of triathlon, so the ones that I'm going to do in my first season are Olympic distance, also known as standard distance, and that involves a 1.5 kilometer swim, followed by a 40 kilometer bike, finishing with a 10 kilometer run. In my second season, I do 1 sprint triathlon and 1 middle distance triathlon, also known as a half Ironman distance. Okay, so here we go. First triathlon, arriving in style in the horse box. For those of you who don't know the McCants family, many people thought that Sue and James McCants did in fact have 2 daughters and not 2 daughters and 1 son, because they spent every weekend travelling in a horse box with 2 girls, and no one ever saw the third child. So anyway, it was a change this weekend. We were arriving in style to a triathlon event in a horse box. So yeah, street cred right from the start there. And this is me just before starting. I was quite nervous at this point, I'm not gonna lie. As you can probably tell, Mum's doesn't want to talk to me, so instead is taking pictures of me instead. And right, okay, we're off. I've positioned myself actually surprisingly quite well here, as I think as we zoom in, we're just gonna see some red arms right in the middle of the picture, and that's me just ticking away in some nice open water. And I actually found the swim all right here, because I hadn't done a lot of swimming before, but I just ticked it away. Heart rate really low at 120, just took it easy, got round. But actually, as you'll come to see in the future, it hasn't really improved from this point. So to start with, I was pretty happy. Sighting was okay, as you can see on the map. Strokes per minute really low at 28, I think. So yeah, work to be done, still work to do. And this is me coming out of the water, looking pretty knackered already, to be honest. And the bike, interesting one, this one. Yeah, not my proudest day. A 119, I think, average speed there, 31 kilometers an hour, average heart rate 130. So really I felt I was pushing hard, but didn't seem to be. Don't know if the heart rate maybe wasn't reading. But the big story here is that after the race, Dad asked me, "Oh, so what pressure did you run your tyres at today, Finn?" I didn't in fact check them, Dad. And unbeknownst to him, I checked them after the race when we were back home. They were at 20 psi. They should be running at around 80 psi. So perhaps maybe that's why it wasn't the fastest bike split you've ever seen. Okay, right, onto the run. And this is where actually a reasonable performance was had. 4 laps of a very, very twisty, turny course with the parents running around after me with a camera trying to catch me at various points, which was nice because I could see them every lap, and they kept on shouting at me to keep going and run faster. So it was nice to have some support there. And all in all, first time running off the bike, legs felt heavy, but somehow managed to carry on ticking over. And here's actually this is the end, so I'm just in the distance there, and I'll come around the corner not too long. Get on with it, Finn, hurry up. And actually managed to finish off the 10k in a fairly respectable 41 minutes, I think 42 minutes maybe this one. So considering I'd only just broken 40 minutes the month before in the 10k, so to run 42 minutes off the bike really wasn't the worst performance in the world. So average pace 4:16 per kilometre. You can see how from that map how twisty this course was. But it was a reasonable performance. I think in a minute you'll see what the heart rate was doing as well, which I think you can see there, average of 181. So I was properly in the red by this point. So I was looking forward to that finish. Max heart rate 198, and most of the run in zone 4. But anyway, there's me after looking reasonably happy with my efforts, and absolutely loved it. Overall results: 24th place from memory. I think we're 140 doing it. I know it's difficult to see these splits, but I couldn't really think of a better way of displaying them. But the big takeaway here was that bike was fairly abysmal from where it should be, from where my fitness was at. So that is the big takeaway into the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Looking forward to the next one. Have a good week. Cheers.